testing this microphone. Okay. Also, it's really bright. That subway reflection, it's like right in my face, and I don't have blinds. It's been on the to-do list, but haven't gotten to it yet. So I went to Milan Friday. I thought I'd do a little like a recap of the show experience since it was my first time ever. It was my Milan Fashion Week debut, so I figured I would do a little recap for myself and also for you all to kind of get a glimpse of what it's like, I guess. So, and I purposely waited a couple days to film this so I wouldn't break down ugly crying again, because I had been nonstop crying, like from Saturday till like even yesterday morning. I woke up to like some crazy news. So yeah. Hi.
Your tea is ready, baby.
Thank you. Can you bring it in here? The coaster.
What's that?
Hi, Bean. Can I have a kiss? Sit. You want to be in my video?
It's a little bit
Hot?
to the brim.
Oh, okay. Careful. There's wire. Thank you.
Careful, B.
Thanks. I think the mic works. It sounds pretty clear.
Enjoy.
Bye. Oh, he closed it. Hi, Beanie. Yeah, so I flew to Milan Friday evening, Thursday evening. No, wait. Yes, Thursday evening. I arrived Friday morning, and it was too early to check in, so I met two friends on the plane, and then we took the train together towards like Milan city center, which made it a lot less daunting, traveling by yourself. So I just dropped my bags up at the hotel and then walked around. I met up with my girl Vanessa, and we walked around Sforzesco Castle, grabbed lunch before walking like through the Duomo area down south of the city center where my fitting was. So I went to Fit to Confirm, and I was like starting to get anxious because, okay, first of all, I was like trying so hard not to cry that morning because it was just so surreal that I was in Italy. Like I literally took a plane, woke up, and now I'm walking through a park in the middle of Italy, in the middle of Milan. It was just like something I had never thought would be like my reality. Yes, I was like trying my hardest not to cry all morning, and then I got to the fitting and I just walked in like like stupid big smile, like super excited, still super like anxious and nervous and just like all the emotions. So I went to the back, got my look, and I was like, oh my god, this is a look. And they didn't even like show me the bag yet. It was just the dress, the suit dress, and I put it on. It's very, very hefty. Like it was a very substantial dress, and also with the weight, all of the little strings on the bottom are hand sewn, full of beads. So I made it even heavier, but it like I ended up I practiced walking in it just like in the back before meeting the designer. And thank God the shoes were comfortable. They were so comfortable and also quite ergonomic. Like good job, Bottega, good job, Matthew, because usually heels are like pointy toed, which they did have pointy toe shoes, but the shoes that I had were rather like wide toe box, which I had never really seen before in heels. And the heel itself was also chunkier, so it was super easy and super comfortable to walk in. But yeah, so I practiced walking, and with the weight of the dress, I was like, holy shit, okay. I had to like slow down a minute because with every step, the beads swung, so I felt like I was like swaying back and forth with the dress. What do you see? What do you see, Bing Bing? Yeah. So after that, I got in line. There was like 3 other girls in front of me to confirm. And then met another girl in front of me. Her name's Sun. Super, super nice girl. And we chatted a bit after the show as well. And then come my turn to walk in front of the designer. And you like walk towards and then walk back. So as I was walking back, my back was facing them, but all I heard was like, all I heard was applause and wow. And I turned around and they were just like, okay, let's try with earrings. Again, like trying not to cry. I was like, oh my God, it's good, it's good. And then the stylist picked a pair of earrings, walked again, and they were like, all right, you're good, confirmed. And that was, I don't even know how to describe. Because there's always a fear that there's always the possibility that like you can fit and then not confirm. And then you're like, well, I was really hoping to get this show. So it was just like, I felt this wave of relief when they gave that confirmation. And I took some photos, stripped down, left. And then I actually slept pretty well that night. Before my very first show, before Marc Jacobs, I did not sleep at all. I slept 3 hours. 3 hours. Woke up at 6 a.m. and literally couldn't go back to sleep because all I could hear while I was trying to fall asleep was the music for the show because I was so nervous about it. But this time, because I had flown in and landed in the morning, I was exhausted from walking around all day, I fell asleep so fast that night. Thank God. And so the next morning, I went to breakfast with my agents, and then I saw Women's Milan branch, and I ended up signing with them. So thank you for having me. That was all in the morning, like around noon before I went to the show. After that, I went back to the hotel, grabbed a quick lunch, went to the show location backstage and started getting hair and makeup done. And then partway through, before rehearsal? I can't remember. Half of it's a blur. I was walking to the bathroom, and it's like, backstage is always kind of crowded. So there was this big poster standing up and I was gonna walk behind it. And there was another woman who was trying to walk in my direction. I was like, oh, sorry, go ahead. And she said, oh no, after you, my dear. And I was like, oh, thank you. This is the face that my brain made, but I thankfully just carried along like everything was normal because I could not believe that I had just met who I met. I texted my agent after. I was like, oh my God, is Kate Moss backstage? He said, yes, she is. Yep, this is happening. And I was like, holy shit. I was so shocked. Like, that was the last thing I was expecting. Just like casually walking into Kate Moss backstage, let alone sharing a runway with her. But yeah, I felt stupid for not like, conversing with her a little bit more. But honestly, I was just in a state of shock like this entire trip, and then add that into the mix. Kate Moss is like 4 feet in front of me, right? Less than 4 feet, like arm's width in front of me right now. Off to you, my dear. I'm gonna remember that for my whole life. Like, it's literally the stupidest thing. It could have been darling, but whatever it was, like, just remembering how shocked I was in that moment. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah. So fast forward, we did rehearsal. They put me in my look for the rehearsal because I did some photos beforehand in the look, and I'm very glad I walked in it during rehearsal because, you know, walking a runway versus walking just for the designer during Fit to Confirm, the runway can be very, very long. So I got to practice twice, like 2 or 3 times walking with that very hefty look on me, and it helped like figure out my center of gravity, my balance as I was walking, making sure I wasn't like swaying side to side with the dress. Yeah, and then afterwards we just like finished getting hair and makeup done, whatever, lined up for the show. And I was getting really, really thirsty. And then one of the assistants comes around, he's like, anyone want water? And I said, oh yes, I do. He goes, here you go. And I said, but I can't move my arms. He was like, oh, well, that's a problem, isn't it? But he had some straws, so the model in front of me, America, she was like, I'll hold it. And I have some backstage photos of it. It's pretty cute. A little bit later, finally, we were starting after everyone like sat down, the music started. And I was like calming down already, like not as anxious, nervous anymore, because like I was pretty nauseous all day too. Like I get nauseous from nerves. And we were getting ready to go. I felt my heart going like this again. And then it was like, once it was my turn to go, it was it's always the fastest, like however many seconds of your life. And like it's all a blur. Like I honestly low-key black out a little bit from all the adrenaline. Like I don't remember usually. Actually, no, I lied. This time I do remember, but I still feel it's almost like an out-of-body experience. Maybe it'll always be like that, maybe it won't. But yeah, after the show, I said thank you to everyone, stylist, casting director, found my agent backstage, and I gave him the biggest hug, and I literally like was ugly crying. I ugly cried like in front of the stylist and and casting director too, but I was like ugly crying. And funny because I felt less emotional because the adrenaline was like wearing off and I was just crashing. I actually felt more emotional for the whole day and a half before the show, but it was just like all the tears like finally coming out. And it's funny because at the after party, I saw the designer. I said thank you to the designer, and I was like about to start crying again. I was like, no. This is after party. Don't cry. Just say thank you and be done. Just short and simple, short and sweet. Thank you. But yeah, this is my first Milan Fashion Week experience, more like Fashion 48 Hours experience. It just, having this like only one show just made it so much more special and easier for me to process too. But I still can't believe it happened. And then Monday morning, I woke up and I was on the cover of Pop magazine. So crying ensued again. That's it. I hope you enjoyed watching my Milan travel trip video, and you know, I won't say anything too sentimental because I will start crying, and I just stopped. My eyes need a break. So I'll leave it at that. Hope to see you in my next video.